smoke is quieting down. Seems like we've got to a lot of the smoke. Dub, you got smoke?
So, on the most recent Joe Budden podcast, episode 709, Ish and Queens Flip were pocket watching Joe hard body. And Flip asked Joe how much did he make off the Candace Owens interview. Look at the files.
Can I get my cut? I can't help myself from counting niggas' pockets and using my apps.
Yeah, we gotta stop that.
I got
You
to.
don't have to do that.
So tell me what you making. I won't do it if you tell me.
For real?
Yes, whisper.
You'll stop doing it for real?
If you honest, like, I made this flip.
All right, I'm gonna tell you.
So Joe Budden actually told Queens Flip that it was about 8 figures. And Flip started going into thinking mode like, yo, wow, you made that? Dang, what's going on? The crew seems to always pocket watch Joe, which can be very toxic and unhealthy for the pod. In the beginning of the pod, it starts off with Joe telling everyone that Ish pours aquapana water into a teapot to make tea. Come on. Aquapana is one of the more expensive waters on the market, and they are using it to make tea. And the excuse that Ish says to Joe is, don't start. You're up. Look at the files.
I'm telling you, stop.
Why?
Because you're rich. And you talked about health a minute ago.
I don't know,
Listen,
man.
I think water is
don't know.
caca, bro.
Where I'm from, that's a major red flag. For your friend to tell you don't start, you're rich. I'm up. So I don't got to worry about you pouring $4 bottles of water into a teapot to make tea. Because I'm talking about health. Yeah, I want all this, but I want y'all to be mindful. You just ain't going to be just opening these up and pouring them in here. This is a business expense. Like, you must really think you could just, like, this is a water fountain or something. This ain't no water fountain. It's aquapana. A bugging. That goes into pocket watching. Like, that's a red flag. Red flag. You know, it's the type of friend to be like, yo, write that off as a business expense. My man, we don't need that knowledge right now, you know? But now let's get back to the point of the breadcrumbs, you know? Joe lets them know what it takes to make money on the back end in the podcasting game, you know? And the MEEK and Ak situation was just that.
Ak offered him $1 million, 1 year deal, once a week, 52 episodes, 50-50 ad split. I pay for the production. Mm-hmm. You just do it. Not the worst deal. Not the worst deal.
Not a bad deal if you meet.
Not a bad deal if you're anybody.
Ish went to say that, you know, the deal with Ak and MEEK seems like to be a good deal. And Joe says that would be a good deal for anyone. That was a breadcrumb right there. Technically, Joe Budden pays for all the costs of his pod and gives his crew the option just to pull up and pod. You know, that's the same deal Ak was technically giving MEEK, but for $1 million up front without the work. Joe Budden has to go out and leverage the pod. You know, he has to physically go out and pitch deals. You know, he has a guy like Parks that introduced him to Ian, but that's his relationship. You know, that's work that he did. You know, getting inside information, keeping relationships solid. You know, Ish and Flip go off to say, you don't think you would make the money back with viewership, ads, or just MEEK being who he is? And Joe says, we all know getting the money for the podcast is difficult right now. You know, even if you have a name, there's a lot that goes into this. You just don't want to be lit with no funds. Your YouTube shorts is lit, but you ain't got no money. You know, Joe doesn't think it's impossible, but it's a tremendous amount of work that has to be put into it. You know, and I don't think the other guys really understand. Also, Joe says it's not the work of him sitting down recording that makes the money. It's the back end work that gets the money. You know, it's the hustle. It's the hustle. You know, that's what the podcast relies on to make money. The places and things Joe would have to go or do to make the money for the pod matters, not the recording. Then Joe says 2 episodes a month is a lot of risk, and he wouldn't do it for $1 million deal up front, even though MEEK is worth $1 million. You know, Joe has to go sell the show. This isn't any shot to anybody. And the deals that Joe or Akademiks, you know, were to have back in the past, you know, they only wanted Joe. You know, like when they were about to do that deal with Revolt, they only wanted Joe. But Ak kind of, you know, he didn't do that deal because of that. You know, Joe was even fighting for Rory and Moore with the Spotify deal. Hard body. Look at the files.
Spotify calls. I rushed to LA, and this is. It's important to note that a lot of us podcasters had information questions about the data, along with economics questions.
Mm-hmm.
So you see, he out there taking flights, going doing business, getting information for all podcasters, putting in the work, right? So in that instance, you know, he's already paying his co-host. Why would anybody be pocket watching him and want a piece of that when the companies really only want Joe? You know, I know that's how my man Joe be feeling too. I know that's how he be feeling. I tried to put y'all on, but they don't want y'all. How can I break you off? But I'm still going to break you off because you my man, right? I feel like a lot of his co-hosts have spent too much time pocket watching. You know, you can be getting game from him and bettering what you got going on. Like, you know, someone like Ish, he came in the pod, he got better. He just keeps getting better. He even started his own merch line. He's doing his thing, right? Joe Budden always had merch. The merch always been at a cheaper rate. You know what I mean? I don't think that Joe is getting money from Ish's merch deal or whatever. But Ish has been very dynamic in that sense, right? Flip has been pocket watching Joe like crazy, right? And he could be bettering his own stuff. He could be bettering Flip the Script, having merch, you know, doing other things. But he's not. You know, he shouted out Rory the other day on Twitter because Rory said something about him being on his phone. He was like, yo, you guys don't know what Flip is doing. Just took Flip's side. And Flip leaned into that, you know, but Flip, you can't do that. And then you cannot say, you know, that you can't put 100% into your job because your personal stuff is going to take a hit. You can't allow the fans or anybody to breach you for you to even be saying that publicly. You get what I'm saying? Like that's a little just too much. You know, if you got to Flip the Script, have somebody working on that. You should have a team to work on that while you're at the JBP. If it's that serious, so if your business is going to take a hit, like maybe you're doing too much. Maybe you're spreading yourself thin. You know, and that's not good. How you know that Rory didn't say that to try to get into your head, to try to sabotage you? So now you could, you know what I mean? You just got to be careful, man. You got to be careful. You know, Flip has some shortcomings on the pod. We love his energy. Great energy. You know, Queens in the building. But maybe he is forgetting what goes into the pod. You know, knowing the knowledgeable topics. You know, he doesn't want people to talk about his family. That's cool. But he doesn't know that much about music. He doesn't watch the shows that we watch. But you want to know the intricate details about the finances. When a person like Ish, who is dynamic in that sense, doesn't do that. Not good. Word. And Flip, you said that you was going to start a Twitter X community Flip said about how you can get better on Twitter. I mean, with the people and all that. You ain't even start that. It's a lot of inconsistencies. We waiting on improper improv. We waiting on the Twitter Spaces. We waiting on a lot of stuff. Waiting on the WWE. You know what I'm saying? You could have been working out. You know what I'm saying? Getting mad money right now. You could have lost 10 pounds in the last couple months only. You could have made over $1 million, went viral 30 times from people laughing at you, you falling, tripping, sweating too much, or for you trying to lose weight to get into the WWE. Like, who just not gonna stop and do that to make more money and to leverage their pod, to do more stuff? Like, yo, you have so many opportunities right in front of your face. We want to see Flip win. You feel me? And not just sit here worrying about how much Joe's making. It's too much. We want to see for Flip making. We want to get it lit. You feel me? We need to see that. Like, yeah. If you think that Joe could make $1 million with Meek Mill on a podcast, why don't you bring Meek to your podcast, flip the script, and make the $1 million? Go viral. You got the setup. You got the network too. You've been doing this before. You know everybody there, like you said when you first got on. Make it happen. Make it happen. Let's stop worrying about Ak and Meek and the $1 million deal. And let's do Queen's things. Get the $1 million. Make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Because Joe is dropping breadcrumbs on what has to be done to make that $1 million, to get things done. You feel me? And there's too much pocket watching on the pod. Too much. Y'all pouring aquapana for tea. Wow. And please, no more recycled content, Flip. Thank you. We'll be back with the files.
My guy Dub too. That's my man though.
Gang gang.
That's my man, Big Dub.